Hello students, welcome to my channel Yeshuganto and you are watching my channel History Online. Today I am here with a very interesting chapter and little tough chapter number 5 of ICSE class 9, and the chapter is the Sangam Age. According to your syllabus, in this chapter you have to cover only two topics. One is the sources to know the history of the Sangam age, and the second one is the society or socio-economic condition during the Sangam age. So first one is the sources, mainly literary sources and archaeological sources. So we have many sources, literary and archaeological sources, to reconstruct the history or to know the history of the Sangam age, mainly the Sangam literature. Sangam literature or whole Sangam literature was one of the main source to know the history of the Sangam age, spanning from 6th century BCE to 3rd century AD, and megaliths, archaeological sources, megaliths. Okay, and finally the last topic is the socio and economic condition during the Sangam age. If you like this video, press like button, share with your friends, and please subscribe my channel. And to clear your doubts, use this comment box. Previous chapter we have studied about northern India, or that the Mauryan Empire of northern India, and in this chapter we're going to study about the South India and one of the prosperous age of South India, that is the Sangam age from 6th century BCE to 3rd century AD. सो जैसे कि प्रीवियस चैप्टर्स में भी मैंने कहा था कि जो भी चैप्टर्स क्लास 9 के हिस्ट्री में हैं वो सोर्सेस से शुरू होते हैं, और संगम एज को जानने के लिए बहुत सारे सोर्सेस अवेलेबल है. वो आर्कियोलॉजिकल सोर्सेस भी हैं और लिटरेरी सोर्सेस भी हैं. और संगम एज में सबसे जो इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर्स था वो था संगम लिटरेचर और क्रिएशन ऑफ अ वास्ट लिटरेचर लाइक संगम लिटरेचर. सो क्या था ये संगम लिटरेचर, कैसा था सोसाइटी और सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन ड्यूरिंग संगम एज, और इन सब के बारे में जानेंगे इस चैप्टर में, चैप्टर नंबर 5. संगम एज जिस पीरियड को हम बोल रहे हैं साउथ इंडिया की हिस्ट्री में, वो था 6th सेंचुरी बीसी से लेके 3rd सेंचुरी एडी तक. तो उसमें क्या होता था कि बहुत सारे जो तमिल पोएट्स हैं वो आके एक जगह पे मिलते थे, जैसे कि एक मदुराई में भी वो मिलते थे, ऐसे बहुत सारे जगह में वो मिलते थे और एक असेंबली टाइप का होता था. और वहां पे जो होता था कि वो पोएट्स वो बहुत सारे लिटरेचर उसमें क्रिएट होता था, और वो जो लिटरेचर क्रिएट हो रहा था उस संगम और उस असेंबली में मेनली पार्टिसिपेटेड बाय द तमिल पोएट्स. जो भी लिटरेचर सामने आ रहा था, क्रिएट हो रहा था, उन सबको बोला जाता है कि संगम लिटरेचर. And to know about the Sangam age, to know about the society, economic condition, political condition of that time, Sangam literature जो था वो बहुत ही important historical और historical source है to know the history of the Sangam age. According to Tamil legend, there were 3 Sangams or 3 assemblies. It is believed that the first Sangam was attended by only gods and legendary sages, but all the works of that Sangam have destroyed. The second Sangam was attended by several Tamil poets, produced a large mass of literature, but only the oldest Tamil grammar, Tolakappiyan by Tolakappiyar, has survived, and the third Sangam was attended by many Tamil poets and produced a vast literature. And these 3 Sangams in the history of Tamil Nadu popularly known as the Munchaggam. संगम एज की टाइम में और संगम एज में साउथ इंडिया में जो भी किंगडम्स था, जो प्रोमिनेंट और पावरफुल किंगडम्स था, वो 3 थे, मेनली चेरा, चोला और पांड्य. और इस 3 किंगडम्स में हमेशा जो था वो वॉर चलता रहता था और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चलते रहते थे। तो संगम लिटरेचर की जो मेन थीम था वो ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट लेके था, वो वॉर बिटवीन दिस थ्री किंगडम्स, और उसके जो हीरोइक डीड्स था और जो हीरोइक कहानीज थे वही मेनली संगम लिटरेचर की मेन थीम था। और पोएट्स जो थे वो इसी विषय में वो बहुत सारे लिटरेचर लिखे। टू योर सिलेबस इस चैप्टर में सिर्फ सोर्सेस और सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन ऑफ संगम एज ही स्टडी करना है, लेकिन अगर हम संगम एज के बारे में जान रहे हैं, अगर स्टडी कर रहे हैं, तो थोड़ा जो तीन डायनेस्टी के बारे में भी थोड़ा थोड़ा करके जानेंगे, जैसे कि चोला के बारे में जानेंगे, चोल के बारे में जानेंगे और पांड्य, ये जो तीन किंगडम्स था साउथ इंडिया में, उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा जानेंगे। लेकिन उससे पहले अब जो डिस्कस करेंगे कि द सोर्स ऑफ द संगम एज, मेनली संगम लिटरेचर, तो क्या सोर्सेस था टू नो द हिस्ट्री ऑफ संगम, वो हम देखेंगे अब। और इसके बाद जो टॉपिक आएगा वो होगा द सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन ऑफ द संगम एज। Sangam literature is most important source to know the Sangam age, and Sangam literature was flourished under the royal patronage of the Pandyas.
The Sangam literature acts as an important source of Sangam age as it provides information about the ancient Tamil history. It is largely secular and dealt with everyday themes like love, war, trade, governance, etc. Tolakapiyam is the earliest literary work of Tamil literature written by Tolakapiyar. Thirukkural is the most famous and greatest of all Tamil classics written by Thiruvalluvar in Tamil. It consists of 1330 Tamil couplets organized into three main sections and 133 chapters. Each chapter is associated with a specific subject, ranging from plowing a piece of land to ruling a country, and contains 10 couplets each. It upholds truth and simplicity all through its verses. That means Thirukkural और written by थिरुवल्लुवर जो था वो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट और मोस्ट फेमस और ग्रेटेस्ट था तमिल क्लासिक्स में और तमिल या फिर संगम लिटरेचर में। थिरुक्कुरल जो भी क्लास 9 की सिलेबस में भी है। द पोएट थिरुवल्लुवर, हु इज बिलीव्ड टू हैव लिव्ड बिटवीन 2nd century and 6th century AD, composed these couplets. Although there is a dispute regarding the period of composition of Thirukkural, many scholars hold that it was created in the late Tamil Sangam period. The two popular Tamil epics are Silapadikaram and Monimekalai, written by Ilango Vadigal and Sethalai Sathanar respectively. Silapadikaram, written in 2nd century AD, is considered to be the greatest and earliest of the epics of Tamil literature. So ये दो मेनली एपिक्स था, जैसे कि सिलापदिकरम और मणिमेखलाई। ये दोनों एपिक्स से भी जो हिस्टोरिकल बहुत सारे इंफॉर्मेशन मिलते हैं, सोसाइटी के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन मिलते हैं। अपार्ट फ्रॉम प्रोवाइडिंग अ ग्रेट डील ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल एंड social information, these epics provides information about the development of fine arts and in the Sangam age. So fine arts का भी जो भी प्रैक्टिस उस टाइम होता था उसके बारे में भी ये जो एपिक्स है वो बताते हैं।
Literary sources, or besides Sangam literature, there were so many archaeological sources like megaliths. Megaliths were most important source to know the history of the Sangam age.
तो मेन जो आर्कियोलॉजिकल सोर्सेस था वो था मेगोलिथ्स। अब ये मेगोलिथ्स है क्या? सो मेगोलिथ्स आर ह्यूज स्टोन्स फाउंड एट मोस्ट burial sites. A box-like structure was erected with the stone slabs resting on each other without any mortar. Sometimes there was an open cut into one of the sides. These are also known as memorial stones. Before the Sangam age, the extreme south of India was inhabited by the people called megalith builder or megalith builder. These people are known as such from the pattern of their graves. Their graves are called megaliths. They were encircled by huge pieces of stone which contained not only the skeletons of the people buried within but also pottery and iron objects such as arrowheads, spearheads, hoes, and sickles. Like ancient Egyptian, the megalith builders also understood that there was life after death. These goods were buried with the belief that the dead would need these things in the next world. Also, tools and weapons meant for hunting, agriculture, and fishing excavated from the graves indicate that people of that period earned their livelihood by means of hunting and cultivation.
Some sources, archaeological sources and literary sources to know the history of Sangam age. Now, your next or the next topic of this chapter is the socio-economic condition of Sangam age. So before discussing socio-economic condition of Sangam age, I would like to say something about or discuss something about the three prominent kingdoms of South India during the Sangam age.
There were three important kingdoms, namely Chera, Chola, and Pandya, in the Tamil country during the Sangam age. So, first one is Chera kingdom. The territory of Sangam Cheras mostly comprised the present state of Kerala. The Chera kings of Sangam age were known by many titles such as Vanavar, Villavar, and Malayar. Their capital was Bhanji and their chief port was Thondi. Their symbol on the flag was bow and arrow. The Cheran Senguttuvan was the most popular king of the Sangam Cheras. Now the next kingdom is Chola kingdom. The kingdom of Sangam Cholas comprised present Tanjavur and Tiruchirappalli districts. The Chola kingdom is referred to in the Sangam literature as Chonadu, Kaveri Nadu, Kaveri Suj Nadu, Neer Nadu, and Punar Nadu. These names indicate the rich water resources of the Chola country. The river Kaveri that flowed through the Chola kingdom made its soil fertile. The capital of Sangam Chola was Urayur. The most popular among the Sangam Cholas was Karikalan. The Sangam literature gives useful information about Karikalan. He was a great warrior. He defeated the Chera and Pandya kings at Veni. Karikalan had become popular for the development activities in his kingdom. He had encouraged the growth of agriculture as well as commerce. He had built the dam called Kallanai across the river Kaveri. Its water was used for irrigation purpose. And the last and final kingdom was Pandya kingdom. Actually, under these Pandyas, the Sangam literature flourished. The extent of Pandya kingdom during the Sangam age comprised the present districts of Madurai, Tirunelveli, and Ramanathapuram. The Pandya kings were known as Maran, Bhalundi, and Sejian. Their capital was Madurai and their chief port was Korkai. Their symbol was fish. The Pandyan kings earned name and fame for their patronage to the Tamil Sangam. It can be said that their capital Madurai had remained the capital of Tamil language and literature.
Some prominent or powerful kingdoms of South India during Sangam age. They were involved in wars and conflict every time, and their wars, the heroic deeds, actually formed the main theme of Sangam literature. Now I am covering the socio-economic condition of Sangam age. So firstly, I will discuss about the society of the Sangam age.
Society during Sangam age. The Sangam literature gives a true picture of the society in the Sangam age. The people of that period had a well organized social life. The Sangam literature speaks of many tribes and also refers to the traditional castes. This means that the caste divisions and the tribal arrangements existed side by side. The Tolakappiyam has mentioned four castes, namely Brahmins, kings, traders, and farmers, ignoring most of the other names of the people. These references in the Tolakappiyam obviously show influence of the Sanskritic social ideas. The Brahmanas during the Sangam age were a respectable and learned community. They performed their caste duties. They served the king occasionally as judicial officers and always as priests and astrologers. It seems that trade was common to both the Vaishyas and Vellalas. Vellalas means peasants. The Vaishyas were assigned the duties of learning, performing sacrifice, making gifts, agriculture, protection of cows, and trade. The most relevant socio-economic aspect of the anthropologies is their concept of tinai, according to which the land was divided. The whole area consisted of 5 tinais or divisions, that is, hilly backwoods, parched zones, pastoral tract, wetland, and littoral land. Now the next point is food and dress. Grain, meat, and fish formed the chief articles of food, and with vegetables, milk and milk products. Clothing comprised 2 pieces of clothes. Women in high society used corsets and hairpaste. Ornaments were worn by both the sexes. The children wore a necklace of tiger teeth. The next point is entertainment. The Sangam age people made use of different modes of entertainment during their leisure time. Music and dance filled a good part in the spare time of men and women. In villages, cockfight and goat fight were popular. Now the position of women. The status of women in Sangam society was not equal to that of men. However, women enjoyed freedom of movement in society, and the number of women poets of the age is a proof that the women were provided with good education. There were female ascetics belong to Buddhist or Jain tradition like Kaundi Adigal and Mani Mekhalai. There were a large number of courtesans.
इसके बाद जो आएगा इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन. तो इकोनॉमी कैसा था? मेन ऑक्यूपेशन लोगों का क्या था? क्या वो एग्रीकल्चर वो प्रैक्टिस करते थे? एग्रीकल्चर के सिवा और भी जो भी प्रोफेशंस था उसके बारे में.
Economy during Sangam age. The economy during the Sangam age was simple and self-sufficient. The people were industrious and they believed in living well by earning wealth. The Sangam literature points to existence of both the wealthy and the poor people in the society. The division of the social groups into the rich and the poor was accepted as natural, as poverty was considered the result of the past actions of men. Now, the agriculture was the main occupation. The main crops was rice, while other crops included cotton, ragi, sugarcane, pepper, ginger, cardamom, turmeric, different varieties of fruits, etc. Construction of embankments and canals for irrigation was undertaken by the state. Next to agriculture, spinning and weaving were the most widely practiced crafts. Spinning and weaving of cotton and perhaps also of silk had attained a high degree of perfection. Spinning was the part-time occupation of women. Then shipbuilding, metal working, carpentry, rope making, ornament making, tanning, and making of ivory products were widely practiced. Now, trade, the Sangam literature is full of detail regarding the commercial activities of the people. Trade, both internal and foreign, was well organized and briskly carried on throughout the period. The author of Periplus gives information on the trade between India and the Roman Empire. The gold and silver coins from the Roman Empire found in interior of Tamil land indicate to the extent of the trade.
Mainly the सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन ऑफ संगम एज, जहाँ पे हमने सोसाइटी में देखी कि बहुत सारे क्लासेस भी थे उनका, जहाँ पे हमने देखे उसके फूड कल्चर, ड्रेस कल्चर, उसके बाद पोजीशन ऑफ वुमेन और इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन एग्रीकल्चर मेन ऑक्यूपेशन था, एग्रीकल्चर को छोड़ के भी ट्रेड वगैरह भी उसमें था, और दिस वाज द सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन ऑफ संगम एज. Chapter number 5, ICSE class 9. I believe this is very informative and very useful. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with your friends, and please subscribe my channel for more videos.